Hey, good morning. This is Golf with I3 Lending. We have our special guest here, Jenny, with Insured Title.
Hi, everybody, and thank you for having me, Golf. Yes, I am Jenny Restrepo, and I am with Insured Title Agency, where I am the Director of Business Development. But I do have my real estate license. I've had it for 11 years. I serve on the board of directors as your secretary this year for Greater Tampa Realtors. Woot woot. And I'm very proud of that and the direction that our board is taking, not only to serve our members, but to serve our community. And then I'm a member of the Women's Council of Realtors, and I am working with FAMP this year as well. So that's your Florida Association of Mortgage Professionals. So I'm busy, kind of.
All right. Welcome, welcome. So today we're going to discuss about, title fraud, what's going on. There's been a lot of fraud going on in the state. If you haven't seen, Jenny has been on the news a few times trying to make people aware. So we're going to discuss today about, awareness. What's going on with the fraud in the real estate world today?
A little bit of everything. Unfortunately, fraud is becoming super prevalent, especially in real estate transactions. And that ranges anywhere from fraudulently obtaining a loan with fake documents, misrepresenting yourself as the rightful seller of property and attempting to sell that to unsuspecting third parties. Wire fraud that's an oldie but goodie, but the criminals and the fraudsters are getting better and better. They're using AI now. And the only way really to protect yourself is through awareness and knowledge, protecting yourself and working with reputable professionals that are on the lookout for fraud, like Insured Title, like I3 Lending. Never skip a professional in the process because they are looking out for those red flags. And at Insured Title, we're sort of taking the thing where you prove to us it's not fraud instead of assuming we're going to go ahead and assume it is fraud until we prove it's not, so that we're taking that offensive stance in protecting all of our clients through their real estate closings with us.
Right. And for our side, on the mortgage side, we go the extra mile as well, trying to make sure that we're dealing with the right person. I mean, asking for a two-form ID. Now we're just adding on an initial introduction, because I get a lot of referrals throughout the day. I like to do either when we're meeting for the first time, either meeting in person or at least a Zoom to that way we get a better understanding of what your needs are, and then make sure that we're meeting the proper expectations. So
certainly. So setting that expectation that right now, if you're going to go through a real estate transaction, expect upfront more questions from either your agent, your lender, your title company than maybe you've experienced in the past. Or if you're a first-time home buyer, don't be scared. Honestly, these questions are designed to protect you, not invade your privacy. We are all on the lookout to make sure that you are the correct person, that no fraud is committed against you, that we have all of the correct information. And so sometimes these questions may seem excessive, but honestly, they are designed for your protection. And especially in the lending process as a buyer, you want to make sure you're dealing with the correct seller, that you're not going so far down the line that you've paid for an inspection and done all of this work and appraisal just to find out that you don't even have the correct seller and that it was a fraudulent transaction, because there's no way to recover that money at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a big, I know for first time buyer, money can be tight. I mean, on average, you're spending for home inspection and appraisal, that's easily $1,000 right there minimum. And then, that might be tight for someone. So
absolutely. I mean, I'm not trying to waste $1. I don't know about everyone else. And in that process, you clearly you've saved money, you're excited about the process. So at Insured Title, we don't want to see anyone go far down the line in a buying process just to find out that they're not dealing with the correct person. So for all of our listing agents out there, we will do all of the listing paperwork up front as soon as you have the listing agreement. Typically what happens is a product is listed for sale, a buyer comes along, now there's a contract for purchase, and that's when typically agents engage with the title company and the title company begins their research. We begin the research right at listing and then provide all of that documentation to the buyer to review prior to making the offer, so that you do have a level of security that we have reviewed the title, we have asked for documents from the seller, we've made sure that there's not any egregious liens like construction liens or utility liens. And that way you as a buyer find out up front, or have that level of confidence up front, that these things don't exist, rather than going under contract, engaging in different services that incur additional fees, and then finding out there's something that's on title, there's some sort of lien, and then the seller either has to agree to it. It just becomes messy at that point. So we believe in transparency and giving as much information up front so that everyone's on the same page.
Awesome. Jenny, would you like to share some of the, some stories that you have seen in the past where people have maybe been defrauded? Now, not to scare our audience or anything like that, but more of a awareness that how this stuff can easily happen without not even knowing. So having someone experience, such as Jenny or myself, being 24 years in the mortgage business on your side, it is important that who's working with you or for you.
Absolutely. I think it really does matter. I hear so many stories just from someone this week that he was working with an agent that he didn't feel like it was listening to him. They basically said, just go check out some open houses and let me know if you want to make an offer. These are red flags, just like in a dating situation. You're dating your agent, you're dating your lender, and if you're seeing those red flags, think again, there's someone else that you can work with. You want to work with someone who has great reviews, that has a lot of experience like golf, because that person is knowing what to look out for. You don't have to ask for it. He's already looking out for you on that. And the stories of fraud that I have was probably more time than we have today, so I'll pick my highlights reel. There is a fraudster that he was charged with 6 counts of essentially title fraud under scheme to defraud. He was arrested at the beginning of last year, and then to close out the year, finally actually pled guilty, so admitted that he did commit fraud. And what he did was record fraudulent deeds, faking signatures, faking notary stamps, recorded them with the county, and then try to sell or over mortgage these properties or sell them to unsuspecting third parties. And why is this dangerous? Because let's say that one of those went through. At Insured Title Agency, knock on wood, they don't go through. We have busted everyone or stopped them in their tracks. We haven't closed one. But that's not to say that any other title company that has closed them has done something egregiously wrong. These fraudsters are getting so good at their craft. And every once in a while, they're going to get through, because if none of them got through, they would move on to a different kind of crime. So clearly it's working because it's becoming more prevalent. But here's what happens to you as a home buyer if you purchase one of these properties via a fraudulent transaction. You're going to purchase the home. You're going to either spend cash or you're going to obtain a loan that's now in your name that you have to pay back. You get to move into this property and grow that investment and live there with your family. But if somebody comes along the line and knocks on the door and says, by the way, that was my house, or I had an interest in that property and I never agreed to sell it, so it's not yours, it's mine, you now have a title claim.
Correct.
And then if you have to go through the process of submitting a title claim, you need to look at what is the amount that you're insured for. Is it what you bought it for 10 years ago, 15 years ago? Is it the price of the land and now you built this gorgeous custom construction home on it? Honestly, if you find yourself having to submit a title claim, it's probably not going to make you whole. And this is why you want to make sure that you're just not in that situation to begin with. And that is making sure that you go through a closing process with a reputable title company, that you look at that title commitment and make sure that there's nothing on there that seems fishy, and read it, or have your agent help you read it, or call the title company and ask them 1,000 questions. It's their duty to answer your questions. And so definitely in a home buying process, ask as many questions as you need to feel confident that you have the correct information to move forward with your decision making, because the fraud could eventually make you homeless. It could steal all the equity that you had in your home. It's a place where you have been trying to grow your family or maybe a business. And so it is heartbreaking when we see these situations happen where it could have been prevented. And that's just one story of selling to an unsuspecting third party. There was a woman out of Miami who she inherited her family home when her parents passed away, and a different fraudster, not the one from Pinellas County, recorded a fake deed, sold it to a third-party investor, sight unseen. This third-party investor came and evicted her from her own home where she grew up, and she was homeless for 6 months.
Wow.
Until this got unwound, and ultimately the state of Florida put together a lawsuit against the person who had done this to 7 other people. There were 15 people named as defendants in this lawsuit, and it was the state of Florida that created the restorative deed to return her property rights 3 years later.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I can imagine like being in that predicament. So, yeah.
So here's the silver lining, because I'm not all bad news.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. What should you do? Now you're shaking in your boots. I own a home. Someone's going to come steal it. I never thought this was possible. Well, in most of our counties, certainly here in the greater Tampa Bay area, the counties participate in a service called Property Fraud Alert. I can confirm Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties all participate, many more throughout the state. Wherever you own a property, you need to go to Google and look up Property Fraud Alert. It will take you to the main website. You can select your state and select your county. So even other states in the country participate if you own property outside of Florida. Go ahead and go to your county and register for free.
Awesome.
Correct.
Free.
Not here to sell you anything. Register for free. And here's what will happen. You sign up with your name, or if you own property in the name of your business, then you will be registered with Property Fraud Alert. Should anything be recorded against your name in that county, you'll get a notification. And if you sign up for text alerts, you'll get a text. That way, if anything, so that could be a deed, a notice of commencement. Let's say you're getting your roof done, putting in a pool, anything recorded with the clerk of the county, you will get a notification. And if it's correct, then check, okay, that was me. If incorrect, now you know as soon as it's happened that it is happening before this fraudster could potentially try to resell your house or try to get a loan against your house, because there is a seasoning time period where these things don't happen overnight. You know, someone can steal your car out of your driveway and now it's done, but stealing your home is a little bit craftier and takes a little bit more time. So knowledge is power in this situation, knowing that it's happened as soon as it happens, and then being able to contact a real estate attorney or contact your local law enforcement and try to get this unwound is key.
Awesome. All right. I think that